All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Portland Trail Blazers versus the Utah Jazz. Full game highlights, reaction, review, and analysis. Let's jump into it. Trendon Watford getting it started early. Young fella with the start again. Drew was still out. Dame, of course, was still out. Gary Payton II still unavailable. I like this lineup that Coach Bill has put out there, though, to start the game. I know some people might look at it a little funny, but it was a good lineup. I mean, you got Ant out there, and it helps him not have to have too much responsibility as far as being the quote-unquote point guard, the floor general. You got Justice Winslow out there who can help you with some of those decision-making responsibilities. You got Nurk out there who's shown that he's a wonderful passer and he has great vision. I love this was funny right there. Nurk had a big problem with getting out there challenging. I think it's Vanderbilt on that three. He hit about three of them. Nurk was not feeling getting out there, even to just close out. I mean, but Nurk got to understand that's what they do to him too. You know, that's what I was saying about appetite before, changing your appetite to want to be hungry for things like that. Because that's what the Trailblazers need in order to be a championship team. I mean, you got Killer Ant just doing his thing, who went off. I mean, shout out to Ant. And what I was more impressed with, because we've seen Ant go bananas on the offensive end. But what I was most impressed with watching this game was you can see some of the guys begin to play stronger, play tougher, a tougher mindset, getting their body braced more for contact, instead of flop mopping, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that just had to do with mindset, and some of that had to do with Greg Brown, who had some great energy coming in off the bench. Shaedon Sharpe, played with better energy. I'm not gonna say great energy, but he definitely played with better energy, a better focus, and that's what I mean by some people might look at it and say he's always had the energy out there, but misplaced energy, because your focus isn't where it should be, can hurt more than help. But his focus seemed to be in the right areas. He's still learning, and he's starting to understand that he's learning and the things that he's looking at and what he needs to learn. And being patient with himself. I mean, it's not just going to come right now. Be patient with yourself, as we see Ant with the wonderful shot right there. Ant was on fire. I was impressed with Trendon Watford. His playmaking ability and the way he understands how to get out of his teammates' way and how to set them up for shots. He's a smart young fella, and that's definitely going to help the team and himself, obviously, in his career. That's going to help the Trailblazers in the long run. Having someone versatile like that who understands, how to use his ability. And let me mention this also, as we see Nurk just allow that layup right there in the paint. Against the Clippers, man, I wanted to say this, and I don't like to make my videos too long, but I'm going to start doing more videos kind of talking about things. But Nurk did a great job protecting the rim against the Clippers, and I haven't seen that in the next two games since. And, of course, we haven't seen that prior to that. Now, I will say this, though, because I always like to give credit where credit is due. Speaking of that, shout out to Anthony Davis, who's playing out of his mind right now, who's really playing how you expect him to play. Nurk was challenging shots prior to that game versus the Clippers. He was definitely challenging shots. He was making a choice to get up off the floor and challenge shots. And then against the Clippers, his timing came out of nowhere, and he just getting up there just blocking guys right by the rim. I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. If Nurk can do this, So he just decides to not do it. I mean, I have a problem with that. I mean, if you have that type of ability and you want to be on a winning team and you want to win a championship, regardless of what you may think or want your role to be, you have to use your ability, man. You have to use everything you have for yourself and for your team and for yourself. So I hope to see Nurk, because he's so good on the rebound as we see right there, eating off the rim. I hope to see him develop that appetite to want to continue to challenge those shots, to continue to develop that good timing to get up there and actually meet those shots. Um, and then to eat off the rim, to have a motor on defense. I heard Ant say after the game, after this particular game, that he felt Nurk was one of the best screeners in the NBA. And while I disagree, that was definitely something that's an ability of his that you want to utilize more times than not. I happen to think that Drew Eubanks actually is a better screener than Nurkic. Nurkic has, I mean, just his size alone is just getting in the way. But the actual technical aspect of setting the screen and doing it legally without fouling, or without moving, or without leaning, or without hip checking, or without moving before, without moving while the screen is being utilized. Um, Man, that right there, that strong finish. That's why I feel like Drew. Excuse me, but that's why I feel like Drew Eubanks was a better screener than Nurk, because Drew sets wonderful screens, and he's like a pillar. He's not moving. Um, that take Trendon Watford just had kind of symbolized what I felt the team played against the Utah Jazz was strong. They started playing strong, going to the basket strong. Jeremy Grant had a strong 30. I mean, I don't know, I don't remember exactly his numbers, but I thought he played with a strong mentality. And again, what I mean by strong is just you're not gonna concede or allow them to stop you or get in like right there. I'm not gonna just let you stop me or get in my way. I'm gonna go around you, over you, through you, but I'm not just gonna let you defeat me by hoping the ref bails me out with a foul or anything like that. I'm gonna come at you like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, nice follow right there by Nurk. But those strong finishes is what this team needs to do consistently, because they have guys that are extremely talented that can get to the free throw line playing that way. And the more this team gets to the free throw line, the better it is. It's going to continue to open things up. And there's very few teams that can match up with that if this team is playing that way. So I was impressed with seeing some of the guys rise to the occasion, specifically Ant. I'll get back to my point earlier, which I thought was even bigger than uh, his scoring, was the fact that he locked in on defense, and it wasn't that he was shutting anything down, but he was staying in front and he was staying locked in, not bailing out. And as you saw, he had a wonderful defensive play where he almost shot the gap and got the steal. We're going to see more of that because he's starting to figure that out. And then, as we'll see coming up here in the final play of the game, Ant makes a great defensive play, and that's what I've been asking for. Because I know what Ant can do offensively. We know what Ant can do offensively. Matter of fact, we know what a lot of the guys can do. And to see what Dame has been doing defensively, which a lot of people aren't talking about, right there is the play I was speaking of with Ant on defense. Seeing what Dame has been doing on defense, rising to the challenge, accepting the challenge, even if nobody is challenging him but himself, I think is wonderful. That speaks to his leadership. And we're starting to see some of the guys pick up from that. We're seeing Ant take more responsibility on the defensive side. We've seen Justice, who brings that. Obviously, Josh Hart, who's still out. We've seen, some really good leadership on the floor in regards to how guys are playing and the effort they put out there on the floor. You see Trendon Watford, you see Greg Brown coming back up from the G League, who responded beautifully from getting sent down to the G League. I mean, that's what you want to see. The maturity that he's shown in just that short amount of time uh, it's been tremendous, you know. So that's why I look at things the way I do. This team has been building. It's going to be ups. It's going to be downs. But as long as you keep seeing things progressing, as long as you keep seeing players getting better, as long as you keep seeing eyes getting bigger, you know, like, oh, I see that. Oh, I could have did this. As long as you're seeing those things, um, things are still looking good. When you're not seeing those things, that's when it's getting bad, and you want to start echoing that sentiment. But right now, even with the losing streak that they were on, you could see them still trying to figure things out. Minutes for guys, what guys are really capable of, and even more so than that. And I'm gonna get out of here. Is understanding spacing, meaning it's not just guys spreading apart. It's also who is where. You know, if I'm attacking from this left wing, I need to know who exactly is at the top, who exactly is trailing behind me, who exactly may be cutting, who exactly is over there on the opposite side, 3-point corner or wing. I need to know all those things because I need to have trust that those particular players or people or teammates will be there as the defense sucks in or as plays are being or as opportunities are being made. I need to know who exactly is going to be there, you know? And that's what they're figuring out. Who likes to be there? Hey, I like that corner spot as we see Jeremy Grant, you know, knocking down those corners. That's something he likes to do. We see Justice Winslow stretching his game out, finding his touch, getting his shot back. Obviously, Josh Hart already made a game-winning shot from the corner, you know. So guys are still figuring out who's going to be where, who likes to be where. And again, guys, just people injuries it's hard to do that when you can't get that continuity due to injuries, guys not being there. But still, they're in the 10th spot, only due to this most recent losing streak, but they've been doing great, um, figuring out the pieces as they go, and yet still putting up some wins. It could be a lot worse, people. I mean, I don't know if people understand that, but it again, when you know you're growing, when you know this, you're going to take some lumps. It could be a lot worse, and I think for these guys to be out here playing blind, and what I mean by that is what I spoke of just a minute ago about not knowing exactly who likes to be where and who is going to be where when certain actions take place on the court. Playing blind like that and still being able to come up with some victories in the NBA, that says a lot about the team that you have and what you're going to have. So it wasn't an issue to get there. In my opinion, it wasn't a situation where we should have got down on the team anyway, or coaching or any of the players. This is when you encourage them even more because you can see them learning. You can see them building a platform to fly. You can see them learning how to take off, you know. And it's coming. It's coming. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Trailblazers for getting back getting back into the winning ways, man. And keep learning, keep getting better. Shout out to the coaching staff, you know, for keep grinding. And let's see how we keep getting better. You know, I appreciate you guys joining me and listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And thank you guys for watching, like I said. And we'll see you on the next one. All right.